My name is Emily. I'm 38 years old and I've always enjoyed working with my hands. Recently, I've been really into making hair accessories for women. My house is starting to overflow with them since I don't wear them myself, so I've begun to sell them on an online marketplace app. It's a really fun and rewarding hobby. Today, I'd like to share an experience from about 10 years ago. When I was 26, I married Justin, someone my age. The first couple of years, things were pretty smooth. But after we hit our second year, things started to get a bit, well, to be direct, dealing with my MIL Jennifer became kind of a pain. From the time we got married, Jennifer had been talking about how excited she was to see her grandchildren. Having lost her husband early, Jennifer, while initially feeling lonely about Justin's marriage, seemed to overcome her sadness by looking forward to grandchildren. She even mentioned at the wedding, "Someday, you'll send your grandchildren off like this, so get ready for it.
Make sure you work hard at it once you're settled in marriage."
And she'd throw in somewhat cheeky comments. I understood where she was coming from, so I didn't get too upset. I just laugh it off and tell her it was a bit early for that. But lately, Jennifer's behavior had clearly changed. The first sign was a phone call. Of course, Jennifer was on the other end of the line. However, receiving a call was unusual in itself. After all, even though it's my in-laws, we are separate households. We had maintained a comfortable distance with her, interacting mostly during biannual visits or when necessary.
"Emily, do you know about coral?"
Huh? Oh, coral. Like from the sea? Yes, I know about it. I was skeptical, wondering if I had misheard. She said coral, right?
You know, they say coral is considered a stone that brings good fortune for having children. They were just featuring it on a TV shopping channel. What do you think? Maybe we should buy some.
Well, I don't really wear jewelry aside from my wedding ring, being a stay-at-home wife and all. The idea of buying coral from a shopping channel, especially when not well off, was far from my mind. It wasn't even a hobby of mine. What's with the sudden suggestion?
Why not? It's a shame. It's supposed to be good for fertility.
I never would have guessed that she was seriously recommending the fertility and meaning of coral. But this line from Jennifer made me realize, so she's been pushing the coral because she's desperate for grandchildren? This woman. If that was her serious suggestion, it was a pretty roundabout way to approach fertility. After that, Jennifer went on and on about the virtues of having children and her pride as a mother, droning on for about an hour before she finally ended the call. To go to such lengths for grandchildren. Maybe I should look for a doll that looks like a grandchild online instead. As I absently browsed online shopping sites, considering such a ridiculous idea, I couldn't help but think, man, if she keeps saying things like this, it's really going to wear me down. And I just held my head in my hands. A week later, Jennifer decided to visit us directly. Learning that Justin had the day off, she was overly thrilled, saying, "Perfect timing."
Look at this. Names like Kylie and Ethan are popular now.
She showed me a happy baby naming dictionary, and I felt a chill down my spine. I almost blurted out, but we haven't even been blessed with one yet, the words reaching my throat before I swallowed them back down.
But you know, I saw online that Honey is a name, and it goes really well with your last name. It's super lucky.
If they named the baby Honey, no matter how auspicious the character count, it would be like hell in a hospital waiting room, wouldn't it? It seemed Jennifer had gone overboard thinking up names for her imaginary baby, landing on what we'd call a trendy baby names. If this is the situation with an imaginary baby, I shudder to think what she'd come up with for a real baby. I felt a chill down my spine once again. worrying about the future of this nearly named honey imaginary baby.
That's right. From today, Emily, you should start drinking this.
She said, handing me a box with words in a language I couldn't decipher. It looked strange.
I bought it online. It's tea mixed with 40 different types of Chinese herbs said to be good for pregnancy.
So that's why. Despite the box, there's this indescribable smell, a mix of sour and bitter wafting through. I haven't tasted it, but I fear I might lose my sense of taste in exchange for getting pregnant. I glanced at Justin, seeking help with my eyes, but my plea went unnoticed as he simply said, "Hang in there, Emily." Way to go, Emily? Am I some kind of parthenogenetic human being? I'm not a water flea, you know. If you want me to try so hard, then you should be putting in the effort too. I kept quiet, thinking to myself. Speaking up wouldn't change the situation here, anyway. Then Jennifer pulled out from her large bag an orange jacket, an orange bag, a t-shirt with a pomegranate design, red shoes, and even baby shoes to hang on the back seat. The shoes were bright red flats. If you put it all on, voila, from head to toe, it was like a complete fertility-themed ensemble, every piece decked out with auspicious motifs for having children. What a coordinated fertility outfit. My sense of style has left the chat. Walking outside in this getup would be a tad embarrassing. No one would come near me. This isn't just a quirky style, it's beyond a simple description. To top it off, she left behind an extremely creepy mask saying, "People who held this are said to have had children." Apparently, it was recommended by a fortune teller at a local festival, but it's the kind of design that might make babies cry, not out of joy but of fear. Definitely a scam. Needless to say, after Jennifer left, I was dumbfounded by the absurdity of all these gifts. Half a month after that incident, I caught a cold for the first time in years. I'm not usually prone to colds, but maybe all the recent stress wore me down. Coughing and wheezing, I looked at the fertility mask that Justin had somehow ended up displaying. Of course, it's unsettling. It feels like it's staring right at me. Just as I felt it sucking the life out of everything. The doorbell rang, like the tolling of a doom bell. Such an hour on a weekday. I hadn't ordered any packages. It's unusual for anyone to visit, so I was curious. Whether it was the fever or the sheer dread, I felt a chill as I looked at the intercom monitor to see Jennifer's face displayed. The end. The word flash across my mind.
Emily, oh my, you've caught a cold.
Sniff, yes. Sniffling, I reluctantly opened the door to welcome Jennifer.
Then it's perfect timing. Let's go to church now for a fertility blessing.
Huh? My voice was so hoarse, it came out more sharply than intended, but Jennifer didn't seem to mind.
When you're feeling weak, that's when you're most receptive to God's support. He will grant you infinite fertility power.
Jennifer looked like a deity from an anime. Bestowed upon you is the power to shape the world's destiny. Now go forth towards the future, like. Right now, I just want to head to bed. First off, what's with the infinite fertility power? Am I supposed to churn out kids nonstop? I'm not feeling well, and I wouldn't want to pass it on to you, so maybe today is not a good day. I tried to choose my words carefully, hinting for her to leave. But Jennifer didn't care at all.
I don't mind catching a cold. If it means my grandchild is conceived, it's all worth it.
Apparently, Jennifer was willing to worsen her cold, or even risk her life, for the sake of grandchildren. Wow, incredible. But that means she won't see her grandchild if she's gone, is that okay? No, but...
Decision made, let's go.
Jennifer dragged me, still in my pajamas, into a taxi she had waiting and forcibly took me to pray for fertility in the dead of winter. Praying in pajamas? That's like mocking God. If I were him, I'd take away all her powers. Unable to move properly, I was at Jennifer's mercy as we went for the winter fertility blessing. Upon returning home, as expected, my fever had risen. Just in time, Justin came home, and after explaining the situation, I said, "I don't have any appetite, sorry, but could you make your own meal?"
What? I come back tired, and this is what I get.
"I'm tired too, thanks to your mother." I was too exhausted to sugarcoat my words. Just bluntly throwing that out there.
Moo. No choice then, huh?
What do you mean no choice? And that moo sound is just annoying. Between feeling so lousy physically, all kinds of annoyances were just bubbling up inside me. But at that point, I really just wanted to lay down and rest, so I didn't say anything more. Even talking was hard with the coughing. I didn't have the energy to even deal with them anymore. Then, even after the fever went down, I had a lingering cough that led to a diagnosis of on the verge of pneumonia. Definitely because we went to that church. Harboring a bit of resentment, I just threw myself into getting treatment, desperately wanting to be free of this misery as soon as possible. Thankfully, about a month after catching the cold, I was mostly back to my usual healthy self, though a bit of coughing remained. I wasn't fully recovered yet, but I could finally lead a normal life again. Or so I thought, until Jennifer showed up at our house again. Damn it. And Justin, no help at all, just lets her in. Just how secure is our place if Jennifer can just waltz in whenever she feels like it? It was almost enough to make me cry. And as soon as Jennifer entered the living room, she looked at me and said,
"So, did my cute grandchild come into being?"
"Oh sure, in your world, I'm some miraculous being capable of solo reproduction, am I? Despite pneumonia or whatever, I'll just keep popping out kids, right? After all, I've been bestowed with fertility power." No way. With all due respect, I've been unwell, so I haven't exactly been in a condition to focus on getting pregnant. Besides, it hasn't been that long since then. Biologically speaking, it's a bit difficult, you know, in many ways.
Oh my, such excuses. I've always thought this, but Emily, don't you think you're a bit too lackadaisical about making children? You need to be more proactive.
Well, being pressured like that would dampen anyone's enthusiasm. But I didn't say that out loud.
I've been waiting for a grandchild forever. At this rate, my time will come before I see one. Could it be that you're infertile? If so, just get a divorce already. I'll find a new DIL who can give me honey.
Honey's a given now, is it? My eyes widened at that, but this seemed like an opportunity. Fine, let's get a divorce, shall we?
What?
Justin looked shocked.
Well, that was quick. Good thing I brought a divorce form just in case. Come on, sign it quickly.
Okay.
Well, wait a minute. Emily, Mom.
There we were, an odd trio, me agreeing to divorce without hesitation, Jennifer pushing for it, and the panicked Justin. When Jennifer and I, unusually in sync, asked Justin, "Got a problem with that?" Justin fell silent. And just like that, we were headed for divorce. Honestly, I was fed up with Justin not taking my side, and since the cold incident, I'd been considering divorce anyway. So, I had no doubts about it. 3 years later, as I was walking down the street, I heard someone scream, "Ah!" What's all the commotion? I wondered, looking towards the source of the noise, only to see Jennifer and Justin standing there.
Emily, what do you mean by that?
I didn't understand for a moment, but after Jennifer pointed, I followed her gaze and realized. I got pregnant. Yes, after announcing our divorce that year, a former coworker, having heard the news, invited me out to dinner. I met up with him more as a casual distraction, not taking it too seriously. But he ended up confessing that he had actually liked me all along, but since we worked at the same company, he hadn't been able to say anything, and that's why he ended up getting married. Initially, I was hesitant because I thought romance was too much trouble, but gradually I started thinking, maybe I should be more positive about this, and we began dating. From there, it was swift. I've loved you for so long, there's no doubt in my mind. Please marry me, and just like that, we were married in no time. It was a whirlwind marriage, followed by a whirlwind pregnancy. Incidentally, I was walking with Mary, my current husband's mother, my MIL, that day. Emily, who is this? When asked, I said, that's my ex-husband and MIL. At that, Jennifer gave a big nod and said, I see. As she eyed the two of them with a meaningful look.
What's going on? I thought Emily was infertile.
Jennifer panicked. Justin was pale beside her. Well, what can I say? Maybe it was thanks to all those lucky charms I received from you. Maybe I got pregnant thanks to them, in the right household. Is this what fertility power looks like? I said, smirking.
Nonsense, that can't be right. Nothing worked back then. Were you doing something to prevent it? Were you deceiving us?
No, that's not it. But now, here I am, pregnant and very happy. Maybe back then, all the stress made it difficult for me to conceive.
What do you mean by that? Are you saying we were the stress?
It's not just that. There could be other reasons, right? Like what you mentioned earlier.
Wait, so then?
I didn't answer but smiled at Justin. His face, even paler than before, had now turned white.
What do you mean, Justin?
Jennifer pressed.
No, it's not me. I'm not infertile. The problem was with Emily.
I actually went to check if I was infertile. I never told you the results. Justin sounded stunned. He seemed so deflated, he might collapse from a light tap. What a fool. You never got tested, right? And now, after remarrying, I'm pregnant. As I said that with a smile, Jennifer screamed, and slumped to the ground. Too bad, Jennifer. Grandkids might be a bit tough now. You might actually meet your maker first. What do you think? Maybe start looking for a new son? I threw back at her the very thing she had said to me, turning the tables completely.
It was you. You were the infertile one.
Jennifer fumed.
No, I'm not infertile.
Justin kept repeating. Justin, remember you got mumps before we got married? You know, when adult men get mumps, it can lead to other illnesses and even infertility. You had a rough patch after that, didn't you? If only you had gotten a thorough checkup instead of a quick once-over at some random clinic. After a stunned silence from Justin, Jennifer exploded, so it was you all along. Give me back my grandchild. Give back Honey. I mean, Honey doesn't even exist. Over those 3 years, the imaginary baby had become a significant presence in Jennifer's mind. Amidst a grand quarrel, with Jennifer loudly accusing her son of being infertile, among other unspeakable insults, and Justin, looking at his mother, repeating like a mantra, "Is it really me? Infertile." As I surveyed the pandemonium unfolding before me, I felt relieved all over again, thinking, leaving this house was the best decision ever. Well, if you guys want to argue amongst yourselves, feel free. I'll be heading back to my lovely warm home with Mary. Oh yes, and she'll be the one to name the baby. Sounds good, right? As I said this, Jennifer started wailing. That was supposed to be my grandchild, making a huge scene. Embarrassing as it was, I just ignored her and left. Sometime later, Justin, as if remembering me, sent a message.
Let's start over, even with the child.
At this point, it was just ridiculous. Eventually, after being dragged to the clinic by Jennifer, it was confirmed that Justin was infertile. I had suspected as much. Shocked by this, Jennifer told Justin to remarry a woman with children, preferably with young ones. Her statement was practically kidnapping. Police, that's the one. Please arrest them. But for Justin, remarrying someone with children was out of the question. Apart from me, he didn't want anyone else. It seemed he had set his sights on me as a solution, but there was no way I would entertain that idea. Despairing over her son's infertility and his inability to remarry, Jennifer disowned Justin. Justin accepted this, saying, "All my misfortunes are because of Jennifer. I don't need such parents anymore." But even with the disownment, they were the only family each other had in that house. It was more of a disconnection than disownment. From reading Justin's messages, it seemed both Jennifer and he were lonely and wanted to return to how things were, yet neither could face coming back without achieving the goal of bringing a DIL home. I had thought that day would likely never come, and sure enough, 10 years later, seeing Justin on social media, he still seemed to be single, so it appears that goal really was never achieved. Moreover, stress seemed to have thinned his hair day by day. Or perhaps it was just the weak hairs being weeded out. He might be better off bald at this point, but maybe the lack of both vigor and seed was too much for Justin, who seemed desperate to cling to the few strands left. After the estrangement, Jennifer, with no one to rely on, seemed to be living a lonely old age, having broken her health. If only they would just swallow their pride and reconcile. Meanwhile, Daniel, my current husband, and I have been blessed with 3 children. The first was named by Mary, the second by Alex my FIL, and the third we named together. We chose Amanda, Emma, and Ashley for 3 daughters. I'm truly relieved everyone's naming sense was similar, preventing any tragedies like a certain Honey. It was tough at first since they are close in age, but with help from both Mary and Alex, and Daniel handling most of the household chores despite his busy schedule, I didn't feel stressed. Daniel's earnings are significantly better than my ex's, and we're able to live in the same luxury apartment complex as his parents' home, renting the unit across from theirs, which has provided an ideal environment for raising our children. Maybe that's why we've had so many children? If I were to speak frankly, I'm living the winner's life now, just kidding. Despite being girls, all 3 are quite the tomboys, getting into fights with neighborhood boys, but they're just so adorable. They were actually the inspiration for me to start making hair accessories. Tomorrow, we're all going to the amusement park with the Mary and Alex. I'll be making a special homemade lunch with Mary. Off we go.